I think we're live now.
Hey everyone, I just saw PJ Krypto for the very first time. Man, is he incredible. I wonder where he's at though. Doesn't seem to be around anywhere.
Tony, Tony,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir.
I'm coming toward you, man.
All right,
Spaceship,
man. I'm ready.
spaceship is on its way.
Let's see it. Matt Damon coming in.
Here we go.
I'm excited for it.
Here we go.
All right, rip the band-aid off. Let's do it.
There we
There
go.
you go.
Tony,
There you go, everyone.
nice to meet you, Tony.
Awesome, man.
How's
Nice
everyone
to meet
doing
you
here
too.
today?
Hope everyone's
All right.
doing well.
Excellent. I gotta get the YouTube up here.
Can I bring mine up too?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. All right, everybody. We're hey, just getting started here. My first live stream. Thanks for being patient. I will go ahead and share my screen here. All right. All right. So Tony, I think we
Yes,
are
sir.
live here with everyone. Thanks for joining the channel here today, Tony. And yeah, I'm PJ Krypto, everyone. Just had to get some technology stuff ironed out, but Tony Drummond, CEO of MicroPets. It is a pleasure to have you on the channel, sir. And this is an exciting day for me to get to meet you personally. And definitely you didn't come up short. That's for sure, man. This is exciting. So thank you again. And yeah, this is an AMA. Ask me anything. And we got some questions that came through on the DM, but we also have the live chat, and we'll take some questions there too for everyone who's joining. But let's give everybody a little bit more time to join the channel here, and let's get up those subscribers on there, and yeah, and we'll get started here. So let's give it a minute here. Thanks, Tony.
Awesome, man. Great introduction. Look forward to hearing all the questions. Saying Bruce Willis, young Bruce Willis. I love it.
They've said to me like Bruce Willis from like here. Yeah, maybe that's what they mean by that. Yeah. So.
Oh man.
Yeah. Bruce Willis is a legend. Yes, indeed. That's an honor, guys. But yeah, I think we're doing here pretty well. So Tony, let's go ahead and get started here. So we'll go with the questions that came through on DM first, if that's okay. And
yeah, of course.
But before we get into that, maybe Tony, just introduce yourself. Talk about your background, kind of why we're here today, about your involvement in MicroPets and cryptocurrency as a whole, and we'll get started in the questions.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Really appreciate that. And so my name is Tony Drummond. I'm the CEO of MicroPets and the co-founder of MicroPets. There are two other co-founders, Nick and Ryan, and we're supported by a phenomenal admin team. Our website is micropets.io in case you're interested in checking us out. So again, my name is Tony Drummond, the CEO of MicroPets, and I'll introduce my background to you. I really started off like really early on in my career, kind of at like the ground level, like the manufacturing printing industry, and I worked just third shift for actually 7 years. And over time, I kind of worked my way up into an office job, which was I really took advantage of and did a good job there, working for a VP of a printing company as his right-hand man. And I just kind of proved myself there and worked my way up through like every area of business. I've worked as a Lean Six Sigma manufacturing consultant. I've trained over 200 people in that methodology at this point, I believe. Worked for me. Basically, my client base was everyone from like smaller marketing firms to multi-billion-dollar corporations. So delivered multiple millions of dollars in returns for them. And I've also managed plants and facilities and regions. And so at heart, I'm like an operations guy, but I've also been like a hobbyist developer for about 20 years. So I've always been like the computer and technology side. I just really love that aspect of it. And so cryptocurrency is really a good marriage of both of those two, because not only are you in technology, but you're also, in a brand new industry, such as, the beautiful space of crypto. So, you get all that, business background, you can leverage that. You can also leverage your technical background. At least that's what I love about this. And of course, the leadership and the people part is, really cool. So I just love all of it. It's such a unique space, and the people I get to meet is incredible. And that's why I get up and do this each and every day full time. Love it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Where you come from a leadership background, and this played well into your role here with MicroPets. And as you know, I've been with the project since day one, and a strong believer since then. And you and the team have just done an incredible job. So, hats off to you all. And I'm excited to share some of the to my community here. Excited to share some of the latest developments you guys are going through right now. It's quite a tech company you guys have built at MicroPets.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said tech company. Is when people hear MicroPets, they kind of think it's like a meme, right? And in fact, I've always viewed it as the opposite. To me, it's always been a tech company, because what we set out to do is just take the cool pets that were out there, or the cool memes that were out there, and create pets out of them using a technology, right? That technology was our crates, where you could open one up and you get a random pet, and then you can then take that and stake it, and you can generate passive income. Like right now, we have APRs that are over 500% if you have like a mythic pet, right? So you have things like that we kind of brought to the market. And we also were one of the pioneers that enabled you to buy multiple crates and open multiple crates in one transaction, kind of move things around in a very user-friendly way throughout different staking pools and our marketplace that we launched with. All these were innovations that we kind of pioneered. Or we didn't pioneer the overall technology. We used the technology in a different way to drive a great user experience. And that's what's helped us kind of blow up, right, the way we have. We have about 65,000 plus holders today. That's really the core driver of that. And as such, I've always viewed MicroPets as a technology company instead of a meme company. And when you fully understand our ecosystem and what we're building, then you begin to understand how the true depth of what MicroPets is all about.
Yeah, I think that's a great segue, Tony, into let's talk a little bit more about the play to earn game. I know we're seeing in the chat, folks are talking about the play to earn game. Here's one question that came through on DM. I'll just read it off to you if you don't mind. Yeah. So, in a crowded play to earn game space right now, there's a lot of competition. Some are promising a lot and under delivering. Some are actually hitting on all cylinders. What makes MicroPets superior to the competition and the rest that are out there?
Well, what I'll say is when it comes to for one, we have a really great and fun game. It's addictive and it's challenging. Okay, so that's like the basic thing that you have to have. Okay, now here's what's going to help us kind of stand out, right? We are a play to earn game, and the mechanics and the ways we've actually built all of our technology are what enable us to do, some of the things that we're going to move forward with here that are really, really bullish for our project. First of all, a lot of games out there are on something called test flight, right? You got to connect to that. Yeah. But not that that's a big negative, right? If we end up there, but my whole point is they have these wallet connections too. And these things aren't very user friendly. You can see alone all the problems you have with wallet connections these days, whether it's with an app or anything. So, okay, you have all these different operating systems and phones out there. Right now, you have all these different wallet connection variations, people who update their app, people who don't. Okay. Now you're going to take all of that and you're going to lock up your core login system with all those problems. Okay. Perfect. So what MicroPets did is instead, we found a simple way to log in. And this, what I just explained, seems like it's a simple thing, right? But when I just explained it the way I did, you see it's actually solved the real problem. And our login system is an email address. You enter that. It gives you a PIN in your email, you verify that, and you're in. That's it. And it's the same thing you see right now on your profile there. When you go to your profile and you actually set up and link up that game account, you link it right there after you connect your wallet, and that links your wallet to that game account. And then your NFT you pick gives you a bonus in that game. It's really that simple. So that is why I believe it's going to be a very popular game, in addition to the store that we have here too. You can see right there's all kinds of items you can browse and buy, right? Which is a really cool thing. We actually have human fulfillment, so we make sure that people aren't exploiting this thing. We can kind of try and catch anybody who does try and do anything bad. And then, you pair that with the magic chest too, that the magic chest, gives basically, you want to check,
let's pull that guy up. Yeah. There's a lot of questions I get in the community about the magic chest. There's a lot of intrigue about it.
Yeah, so here's how this works is once you claim your game rewards, basically, right? You go here. Well, what you'd be able to do is press contribute, and you can buy a ticket for 50 game coins each. Okay. And if you have a bonus multiplier, then of course you're getting more coins as you're playing the game. You could buy more tickets. So it gives you a higher chance to win. And these prizes in here are worth a lot of money. These are not cheap. If you know our ecosystem, you know that these are very expensive pets right here.
Yeah,
so you have the chance of winning thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff.
Yeah, this one right here has got my eye there, Tony, the evolved unicorn.
Yes, that alone is worth a lot of money. And in our marketplace right now, I believe one's trying to sell for like 6 billion tokens, which is a lot,
Yeah.
So these pets are very valuable. Now what I just showed you is something for everybody. And it's not a play earn game where it's like all about how many tokens can I get and then sell into the chart. Okay. Because at the end of the day, somebody has to provide that liquidity that you're actually getting. And that's the core flaw with a lot of these play earn games. Here, we were actually managing our selling pressure. A lot of these items can't even be sold. They can't even be put on the marketplace.
Like
some of these
potion,
things,
right? Yeah, that's one of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we have an unlimited amount of those we can put out for people who want to use them and evolve, right? So we have things like that we're putting in the shop. And that's what I think makes us that much different. The other thing I want to state too is there's no free lunch. So if you don't have a real MicroPet, if you go to the swap page.
Yeah, if we go to the swap, right, yeah.
Yeah, so I could talk about this really quick. So if you're here, well, now let's say you're earning your coins in your, you're earning your coins in the game. You have a pet as a bonus multiplier, okay? You do a run, you have 100 coins that you pick up, and then from the 100 coins, you have a 25% bonus. You got a baby Akita, all right? So you're going to get a total of 125. You can then swap here. In the game, though, you can only use 100. That way it keeps it balanced, okay? And so now there's a whole documentation system I just finished that explains all this too, so nobody has to remember it, right?
Great.
That being said, here now we're able to swap from a Web 2.0 to a Web 3.0 token. So here's where it takes from the database, and then it gives you that balance in an actual cryptocurrency. And that's the only time a transaction is ran. Now, if you think of how other player implementations are done, for those rewards to be written, a smart contract transaction has to take place. Okay? If it's not using a database or anything else. So what does that do? That drives up the fees. That drives up a bad user experience. If every time I do a run, I got to press a button on my app to do something with my wallet, through all that sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, that really sucks. And that's why we included all of that in our application. So here's the hook for this. The play to earn game has to be a marketing tool for the organization. Because if you're going to spend a lot of money and not get anything out of it, well, then what's the point of doing that for your investor base?
Right.
So what we built here is a really good marketing tool that we're going to be promoting everywhere. We have Facebook ads set to roll off. We have all kinds of cool stuff that we're going to do from like a party standpoint that's going to help kind of bring everybody into one location. All kinds of cool stuff we're planning here around this game. But keep in mind, once you get into the game, you actually earn your coins. You need a real MicroPet to claim those coins. So it's the perfect marketing tool. It's the perfect carrot on the stick for the rewards. So if you want to claim those rewards, it's no problem. Go on the marketplace, buy a MicroPet. It can even be the cheapest one. It doesn't have to be the most expensive one. You go there to your profile, you can claim your rewards, you can go in the shop, you can go to the match chest, you're done. It's really that simple. And so because there's no free lunch, that's why it's such an incredible thing for us. Is it's not only a fun game that people can come back and play, but it also has a rewarding draw to it where once they get that first MicroPet, then they can even learn more about our whole ecosystem. They can learn about the staking and everything else too. Trading in the marketplace, all of that is able to be explored by that investor then.
That's well laid out. And I feel like a lot of people, especially early on that come into the project or more recently come into the project, don't really quite understand. I mean, I don't really understand it until you just well articulated right now how the in-game coins through a Web 3.0 can go to these coins that you can now use to like an arcade, right? Like when we were kids, right? You remember Chuck E. Cheese,
exactly right.
Tony, you remember?
Yes, I remember it now, and I get sick every time I go.
I thought they shut those things down, but apparently they did not. So they're still rampant. But yeah, it's like a Chuck E. Cheese, right? You get all your tokens, which is kind of like, in this case, the tickets that you earn when you're playing the game, like you said, and you swap it in to actually redeem for a prize. I love that. That's really well done. Hey, real quick, before we move on, I just want to say a quick thanks to Astro for the super chat. Thank you very much, Astro. Really appreciate the support on the channel. And also Funk and Kyle, my boy Funk and Kyle. Thank you, bud, for that super chat. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
So, hey, Tony, so kind of moving on here, when we look at the game itself, I just want to go back to another question through DM that I've got here is, how long did it take to actually make all this? Because you're going through all this today, and I don't think there's a lot of appreciation of the level of effort that had to go into creating something like this game.
Yeah, and let me just give a really, really high-level overview of this thing. Making a dog jump over an obstacle and miss it and die is very, very easy to do. And we've had that done for the longest time. So the people who were asking about where the game's at and everything else, I even saw a comment to a simple kids game. These people still don't get it. And that's exactly why they, will always kind of struggle in this type of a business, is if you don't actually understand what's actually being built and designed behind the scenes, and you only see the surface level, then you miss the core essence of what a project is all about. And it's all about the technology in this example here. Okay, so we've had the dog jumps over the obstacle for months and months and months. Okay, yeah. That was done very rapidly into the process, as was the artwork was done very, very rapidly into the process. Now, if you remember what happened with our project about, I want to say January timeframe. And by the way, we had it set up, the Playground game was set up, so every coin that's picking up, I can see you playing it on your screen there, every one of those coins was going to be a reward somebody would get in a pets token, okay? So keep in mind, that was before. All right, now if we had done that, that would have been terrible. We all know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But everybody else was kind of following that path, and you're following that direction, and you're building everything towards that direction. And then you begin to realize, hey, all the other ones that are doing this have a major problem with selling pressure. Man, is it rough, And so realizing that, it was right after we finished all of the evolution pools that we actually began reprogramming everything. Okay, and by everything, I mean the only thing that remains is the dog jumps over the obstacle, which I said was done like in a week. Okay, what we did change is all of the wallet connection stuff that used to be there. We used to have to go into the game, connect the wallet. We got rid of all of that, and for all that to work, then we had to build a custom login authentication authorization protocol. That not only sends the email, but it has that one-time password thing. We also had to build in a lot more security as a result of that too. Okay, and then because we had the idea of the shop and the magic chest, well, all of these require a full application to be built, okay? And so over the course of a couple months, we built, a massive, massive application. 72 smart contracts are powering this whole ecosystem of MicroPets right now. And you compare that to any other project. By the way, this was built by 2 developers that are phenomenal guys. And it was built in less than 6 months. All of that was.
You want to give them a shout out? You want to give them a shout out, Tony?
Oh, yeah, of course, man. All the time. Wadi and Mikado know they're my guys. So, we're close friends, and they've been with us since the beginning. Since the very beginning, they've been with us. And their ideas actually shaped a lot of what you see here, too. So it's not like it's all us. And that's why we are such close friends the way we are, is we've always worked together as a unit versus a vendor-client relationship. You know what I mean? Yes. So that's the heart and soul of what we've been able to put together here. Without that relationship, we would have been in big trouble. Okay. And that's maintaining that relationship is really critical to us too. And that's why we operate the way we do.
I thought it was impressive how they pivoted, right? You were saying,
yes.
whoa, what we have right now.
Exactly.
We got to pump the brakes because this is gonna wreck the pets token chart and also everyone's NFTs and their intrinsic value. So that's not an easy thing to do, to stop and pivot.
No, and that's, like I said, it was in January, right after the evolution pools were launched, that we began like really, really reprogramming everything. And like I say, the login system is just one thing. Now you have to write everything that can detect all these different things in the system you see here. Going from a Web 2.0 to Web 3.0 swap, nobody had built that before that I've seen. And so we had to build all that architecture. We had to build the systems that actually store all this stuff very securely. So, things aren't stored next to each other, for example. I'm not going to go into our security mechanics because that wouldn't be very smart. But, there's reasons why we built things the way we have, and it makes it very difficult to get into, okay, and to exploit. And even in the shop, we have back-end approvals where if an order comes through, we get a notification that it comes through. We can review that and approve that. And there's things that we can actually see in the back end that I'm not going to say anything about too, that help us kind of catch people that might be trying to manipulate this thing, and we can reject their orders right away, so that nobody can wipe out the shop if something does come through. We can also take and burn all the tokens that somebody holds if we catch an exploiter. We can also take and wipe everything that they have. We can also take and from a security standpoint, and ensure that they cannot transfer those tokens anywhere else. Nobody can transfer this rewards tokens anywhere else the way it's designed right now. For that very same reason. So you can't have a team of people working on this thing and then try and put everything together into one. It's not going to work. So,
yeah, all you cheaters out there, you heard it here first. Tony said it. Don't try to cheat the system. We're going to catch you, and we'll wipe you out, okay? So
if you do, it will not be a high ROI for you either. We've ensured of that. You know what I mean?
No.
The way it's set up right now, we've made it difficult where if you try and do something like that, good luck. And we have a lot of systems set up to be able to catch that. So people might be better served wasting their time elsewhere if that's truly what they're great at. You know what I mean? So we kind of set it up that way. Also, the other reason we did it this way is with other play-to-earn games. Okay, let's say we rewarded our native token, MicroPets token. Yep. What happens when you have more players? Do you have more or less selling pressure? You have more.
Crushes it, yeah.
Because if every one of those coins is collected as a token that could be sold, and now you go from 1,000 users to 10,000 users collecting a token, your selling pressure has scaled dramatically.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you look at how we've set it up, is we put a certain amount of items in that shop. We also have the magic chests with a lot of items in there that are valuable that people can play and win, right? And then, it's a fun thing that they could take part in because you're just playing a game. You shouldn't be able to make a living off of somebody's game. If that's the case, it's not going to last. That project is going to go to crap in no time because somebody's paying for the people there to make a living off the game. Okay. Once those people smarten up, the money's out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so here we're able to control the selling pressure through items that don't even necessarily get sold, like I said, and we manage it very tightly that way. And that's really the heart and soul of why we made the pivot, how we ended up here. And we also had that chain link integration as well with the magic chest to make sure that the random numbers are provable in the blockchain too. So all these are things that we try to do to add even more transparency to our project as well.
So one thing, Tony. Sorry. Before we get into another question here, Posh Panel. Thank you very much for the super chat. Very, very kind of you. Appreciate the support of the channel. Thank you very much. We're getting a few people in here asking. I'm gonna ask it, Tony. When game? Sorry, man. All right, they're all excited. They're pumped up. They wanna know. So,
okay, I'm gonna drop something here. All right, as a teaser. Today we got some very bullish news from Apple, and that's all I'm saying.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that, Tony?
Today we got some very bullish news from Apple. And that's all I'm saying, nothing further. I'm not going to talk about a date or anything like that. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Nice. Wow.
So
okay. And I love the little tidbit. I love that. And people can read through that as you want. Those who've been following along with MicroPets, where we are with the game and the back and forth with Apple. And I think you had mentioned on your AMA yesterday, Tony, Google ready to push a button. Yes. Google's ready to go.
Yeah. And of course, Apple takes more time. They're I don't want to say they're more cautious, but when it comes to like our area of work, they're more, like want to take their time a little bit more. And the communication was good back and forth. They ask more questions and you got to respond back with their questions. Somebody has to review the answers to those, and then they come back with their response. I mean, so it's like having more of a dialogue than with Google. We didn't get anything back other than they didn't like one word I used in my description of the app. So I had to change that, and then Google was done. You know what I mean? So, that's all I'll say is we got some very bullish news. You guys can take with that what you will, and just stay tuned.
Wow.
And, what I laid out for the people who said when game, that's why game. That's the way it is. All that architecture had to be built.
Yes.
Wasn't there. Nobody's done it before either. There was no code to copy or clone from, nor will there be because we made it all ourselves. We're not giving it out.
And so can I clarify one thing? Because I've seen some back and forths on this, and I think it's important with just what you said right now about Apple. So those who are not really sure how Apple and apps work and games work, can you shed a little bit more light on when you do launch it, is it like if I have an iPhone and I go into my Apple store, I can go search MicroPets and MicroPets Runner, or whatever the search keywords are, and I'll find it. I don't have to do that testnet or whatever that other way of logging in to see apps. correct?
Yeah, I can't confirm anything, but if it was on there, then you would be able to go on there and just search, and it would show up. Same with Google Play Store, the exact same way. Now, insights in the process is we actually had to form an LLC, for MicroPets, because you need a real brand on there. You don't want to have like your first and last name. It just looks weird, right? It doesn't look like a company has it.
Yeah.
So we had to first form a business for this. And then, of course, do all the setup and everything else associated with that. And then you get everything there. And then Apple, takes your developer account. And then Cubix helped us, with the deployments and managing all that on our behalf. Since they're the experts in that area, we haven't deployed anything to the stores before. And when they respond back, somebody who responds has to be able to kind of understand what they're saying back and, form their response back, So all these things, require a dialogue, and Apple seemed to have more of a dialogue than Google seemed to have too, right? But what it's all about is making sure that there's a quality application on there. It doesn't have a bunch of bugs in it, right? Because that reflects bad on them. Then also make sure you're not trying to bypass any of their stuff too. Which, like I said, the way we built everything, we did that for that very same reason, is we want to make sure that we weren't like bypassing anything or doing anything that, would detract from Apple's value. Because if you're on their app store, you want to make sure that, all right, if there's an opportunity for both companies to have value, then you have to go the legitimate route. If you try and backdoor something, that's not good. You know what I mean? And Apple will find out about that, and then they'll take everything down. So we wanted to make sure that we approach this in the right way with how we designed the whole application. And that's why it's built the way it is. And, it's going to be a phenomenal thing here.
So you don't have to comment on this, Tony, but I have been following closely on the updates you all been pushing out. And so if I recall correctly, it was like about maybe, was it 10 days or 2 weeks ago when you guys initially submitted to Apple? Do I have that time frame right?
Summer. Well, it was, I'd have to look at my calendar and tell you.
Oh, okay. A couple weeks ago, maybe, or I don't know, maybe 10 days?
Maybe about a week and a half ago. Somewhere right around there, I would imagine.
All right. So let's use for simplicity 10 days. And I believe you said in 2 days or maybe in a week time, you heard back from Apple, like with one.
It was
week,
fast,
right? It was pretty fast.
It was within a week, without a doubt. It was just a couple days.
And then you're saying you just heard back today. So I'm just trying to get all the facts now. So you just heard back today after making changes.
I can't give you too many. I can't give you anything here. Okay.
All right.
I'll give you some insights. There's more back and forth. There's about 5 messages back and forth. Okay. It's not that I waited a week to hear back from.
Yeah.
It was, once the dialogue starts, it seems to go a lot faster than just like when you get into a queue. You know what I mean? And you have a customer there that you're working with, and like customer service, that customer's going back and forth quickly once you get that representative online, but just waiting to get to that representative can take a little bit longer. So
okay. I think the bullish news is you've had active dialogue with Apple.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, we got very bullish news.
The Overlord has responded a number of times to you guys, which is fantastic.
Well, yeah, I mean, they just want to make sure everything that's on there is done the right way. You know what I mean? We're not trying to like circumvent any systems. Because if we charge for like a run or something like that, then they wouldn't allow that, because that's an app purchase. That's what they make their money off of. Right. You know what I mean? So you got to make sure that you have a mutually beneficial business relationship when you launch something like that, and have that respect for that business. When you're like the App Store, it is a business. So if you're trying to do something like that and circumvent a system, they're not going to like that.
Okay. The chat was going nuts, Tony, when you dropped the bomb. So again, I think the rumor mill's spinning up, but we'll leave it at that on the game. Thank you, Tony, on that, on updates on the game. The play to earn game is very exciting. I know. Part of my doxing, I have a wife and 2 kids. My kids are ecstatic and really, really excited about getting their app on their phones. And by the way, just a little personal experience. The way you created that profile registration, where we use their email account and their wallet, makes it extremely simple for kids, right? So they have their own wallet, they have their own pets, they use their savings whenever they want to buy more pet tokens or pets, and they just link their profile. And you guys, for those who are on my channel, go to the playlist for MicroPets. You can see on there a great video of how I went ahead and set up my profile. It's super easy to do. It took like 4 minutes, 5 minutes. It was really easy.
I got a guide too.
Yeah. What's that?
I literally just finished the whole Git book for that has all the steps all lined out. I put that in the chat a couple times too, I think. So that'll be on our DAP as a getting started guide. It has everything in there.
Sorry, I just laughed at a comment that came through. PJ, how are you breathing in space with no helmet? So,
Yeah.
thanks, Posh. I got that. I'm in a glass cage here, so yeah, it's pressurized.
I'm not. So my wife and kids may come home in a half hour. You may hear some dogs barking.
Let's keep on with time here. I want to be cognizant.
Yeah.
We said we had an hour, so moving on. Real quick, maybe just we talk about the staking pools. Could we real quick? I think you just sent out. I'll pull up that tweet of the APRs that were just announced to see in the upcoming. I think it's going out any hour now, right? Did it go live? The new staking pools?
Yeah, it should be done. Yep. I did confirm with Nick about an hour and a half ago. It was all completed. So with the backend developer, shortly after that point, the Pets tokens themselves took just one more step to get filled in. So those were just a hair after that point. But both rewards pools, Nick told me just briefly before I jumped on with you here, everything should be up and going right now, full speed ahead and working as intended. And yes, these are the APRs, and this is directly off of the Dune analytics. And, that's another important part of MicroPets is, you can see that I'm transparent, right? But you can also see that we have our Dune analytics there too, that has all these metrics on there that are actually live on the blockchain. And we do this because it gives you a really simple way to actually see your rewards live, versus just trying to take a guess all the time what your rewards could be.
Right.
So it's really important for our investors to be able to understand their investment. And, at first glance, it can look like a little bit of a complex dashboard. But once you take a step back and you look at the categories and just look at the columns, when you pull that up.
Pull it up here. Yeah.
Yeah, you might have, right there, the analytics. Perfect.
Analytics tab here.
Yeah, it does look like it's a little bit, there you go. And we can see right there our reinvestment rate on our pools. Everything here is all live and transparent on the blockchain, as up to date as we can make it. If you hover over a check mark, it'll actually tell you when it's been updated there. That's an hour old, that data. So it's not really even stale data. You know what I mean? It, depending on how you look at it, it might be stale if you're like right to the second. But it actually is really, really good, helpful data right there that you can see is live. That's not like it's something that we published on our website in free text or we hard-coded a rate. This is all pulled in live from the blockchain. So if you're an investor, you have the ability to go into that. You can see that BNB amount on the left-hand side.
Yep.
Where that little field, you can check out all your values right there. But if you go, you could actually change where it says BNB amount. See under where it says $429 right there.
Oh, here? Yeah, here? Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you look at what we said too, is if we go up in market cap, reinvestment rate goes up, we can even increase those rewards. It brings things even better. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So and then you can actually type things in, actually calculate that out. You can put your wallet in here and see your own reinvestment rate if you want to do that. So there's things like this for everybody to be able to like go in and actually understand their investment. And this is only one part of this equation, okay? The other part of that is the education that we provide that teaches you how to use these types of tools. And we don't even charge anything for it.
No.
We don't ask if you're a MicroPets investor or not. All you have to do is you could go to our Discord, Telegram, and just stay tuned for updates. And you'll see them and you join in. And you never know. We might be doing a class and talking about these various concepts. And that's really what we try and do too, is like the education side around investment, because the more people really understand their investment, then the more they understand how their investment could work for them, right? And that's really what we're trying to do too, is make sure we have educated investors in our project versus people who are just trying to gamble, which is, a lot in the BSC space, and that's a big part of what we're building towards right now. And
nice.
We're using tools like this to be able to bring in the right type of investor too. And that's why we have that graphic. That's exactly why.
Thank you, Tony. That's great. And I know you've had staking for some time. The BNB pools, I think they're relatively new, maybe a couple of months, right? You guys, so everybody's earning rewards now. They don't need they were staked before. They're still staked. They just start accumulating rewards. They just flip up a switch on your guys' end. And so that's starting to happen. So people look at your wallets, check it out. You check the D app, you're starting to earn rewards. And then I guess you also, you said something about it being only a week long, right? Like it's 7 days. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we did adjust it this time to 7 days. That way we can just kind of check the market conditions, everything else a lot closer, because we were doing 30 days and just filling it up. Well, then it's like too far out. You know what I mean? We would prefer if it's more real time, it's more manageable that way. It's easier to manage your budget that way too. if you had things kind of planned out a little bit more like that, then overstretched for a whole month out. So it just gives us more freeway here. We like it for that reason. So
Good.
we did have to make a few programming changes to be able to make this happen, but it wasn't anything excessive.
Okay. All right.
So
yeah. Good. Great. Simple is good. So, hey, Yang, thank you very much for that super chat. Appreciate that. Just real quick, Tony, I want to make sure we're cognizant of time here. We talked about the game. Exciting news there you dropped. Appreciate that. We also talked about the staking pools. I think last but not least is Petropolis. Yeah, we're going to talk about Petropolis a little bit. And a question that did come through is what is your main goal with Petropolis?
Our main goal with Petropolis is to take all of the 3D pets that we have, those we view as assets, have a new asset class, which is called land, and pair those things together so you actually have a mutually beneficial relationship between the pet, the land, and the investor who owns those assets, okay? And what does that mean? That means we're going to have our own Petropolis token. That's going to be our core currency of the whole ecosystem, okay? And for example, if you have a pet that has wood cutting skill, you can actually rent that out to somebody who's a landowner that has trees in their land that has to be cleared out before they could build their building, right? And once that's cleared, now you can go ahead and build your building, and maybe you have your pet that goes and mines material for you based on the different land types that you have. Then that could be used to craft, make items, and then sold to other players. So if you look at it, it's actually sort of like a virtual ecosystem, all working together, using the pets, using the land, using resources that are contained within each piece of land. There's 6 different land types, okay? You can see the graphics right there. Those are all custom made for us too. That's what the metaverse is all about, is that harmony between the investors, the pets, leveling up the skills of those pets and adding value of them with both the currency put into them, also the time put into them to level them up, in addition to that land. And along the way, creating valuable assets as a result. And by the way, as you have all these pets, like right now, if I'm playing the play to earn game, those pets can still be staked and earn rewards too. So these are all parts of the ecosystem that, keep adding value over time as it expands versus, here's the value now, then here's the next value thing that you got to skip over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really, if you look at what we've been building along, when the play to earn game comes out, it's a value add versus a different thing altogether, And that's how I see the ecosystem expanding, is more of that relationship being built.
So, and I believe, we talked about how the game, just to kind of add on to your point there, about the game won't detriment the native token, the governance token, pets token, right? So how is Petropolis going to be different? Or I guess the same, in the sense that it won't, like the game won't wreck our governance tokens and keep it safe. How does that work?
Yeah, really good question. So right now, as planned, we don't know if the ecosystem fundamentals will change as time goes on too. It's going to take time to build all the stuff, right? Fund it and build it is going to take time. Okay. So some of this might change from what I'm going to say right here, but currently planned is the only way to buy pets is with pets tokens. The only way to buy land is with pets tokens. Okay. And so when we think about, the value of pets tokens, well then, it's obviously beneficial for everybody to make sure the value of pets tokens that stays high. The same thing is true with Petropolis. The value of that has to have a utility that doesn't damage pets tokens. Okay. And the way of making sure that doesn't happen is making sure that there isn't really a link between that. If I'm hiring a pet using my Petropolis token, that's adding utility there. That's the exchange of value between those two investors. That doesn't really impact the pets token itself at all. If you think about it, it doesn't.
No.
And if somebody wants to go ahead and hire that skill and they don't have any Petropolis tokens, they have to buy the Petropolis tokens. So you can see how that works harmoniously throughout the ecosystem. That's why we have on our team, we have Anthony, who's a financial guy like that looks at those types of systems, and he helps consult us on those types of systems to make sure that one's not like a poison pill for the other. That's why. And then also Mike on our team is the guy that's helping creatively come up with all these things. And you have Nick on the product development side, and then Ryan, who's on the marketing side right now, laying out all the stuff for our whole game and everything right now. Getting all that all the marketing for the whole business. So we have these different people on our team that are experts in their designated fields. And when it comes to the finance side, that's what we lean on Anthony to help us out, not only with the game rewards, multipliers, but looking at budgets and how all these things kind of work together to make sure that one thing isn't destroying the other thing. Which is important when you consider an executive team that's put together with a diverse skill set to actually run a project effectively. That's what we've worked to do here. Some people are more creative than others. Some people are more technical than others. Some people are better with finances than others. Some people's minds work way different than others, and all that's a core part of our team. And that's why I think we're able to come up with concepts like this that are actually not going to kill one thing to make another thrive.
That's genius. Great plan. And it just on the heels of the great ideas that you had about the game and protecting the NFTs and the governance token, it continues to be paramount. And I appreciate that as an investor. Thank you, Tony, for doing that. I know that wasn't easy to do that. You could have just went with the pets token, but so that's exciting. I want to stay on time here. I got another question about Petropolis, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So question is, how do you purchase land in Petropolis? And as a current investor so I have pets tokens in my wallet, or I have an NFT, or I have both. So I think you kind of hinted on it that is there another token that you're going to use? You said Trop. Is that what this is called?
Trop token will be the Petropolis token I just mentioned, which is going to be like the currency within the ecosystem. Okay. Not going to be able to buy land using that though. Okay.
Okay. The land purchases with pets tokens. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Land is with pets tokens. And then there are some requirements for that, which we'll be laying out. And it's sort of like a lottery where, if you're more within our ecosystem, you're a bigger holder within our ecosystem, you're going to have a higher probability of actually getting into something, or maybe a guaranteed probability of getting into a piece of land. Whereas if you're not really an investor here, well, then your chances are going to be much less. You know what I mean? That way the same thing is true when it comes to access the Petropolis token. When it comes to the launch of that token, how you access the pre-sale of that, it won't be something where you just be able to get in if you're just a random off the street. You'll have to be an investor with us. And if you're a larger investor with us, you'll have more access to that, or an easier chance of access to that pre-sale too. And, there are a lot of people out there, I'm sure, that wish they could have gotten into the pre-sale of MicroPets. So I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah. When I explained the project to my friends, they say the same thing. Man, why didn't you talk to me over 6 months ago?
were you in our original? Did you get on Pink Sale?
I did on Pink Sale, yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
So that was
the wild ride all the way up. Yeah, that was. Yeah. My wife remembers me going off on crazy, seeing what was happening.
And just for the audience here, if you put one BNB into the MicroPets pre-sale and Pink Sale within 3 weeks, that was worth 375 BNB. That's how fast the rise was. It was this 375x in 3 weeks.
And we could still get back there, right? I mean, not financial advice. Again, I forgot to mention.
Exactly.
Nothing we do today, Tony.
Nothing is financial advice. Yeah.
Nothing we're talking about today, folks, is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Tony, not a financial advisor.
I'm not either.
Not either. Okay.
Nor would I want to be.
So don't take anything here as financial advice. It's on you if you invest. It's not on us. So, but yes, I think that's super important to state that. Thank you, Tony. So just staying on time with everything. So again, Team Traders, thank you very much for that super chat. Much appreciated for that.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate the support of the channel. Thank you. So just, I guess, one last question on Petropolis, and we'll kind of open up the chat. We'll get through some questions before we close out here, Tony. And I want to be respectful of your time.
Sure.
So with Petropolis, the major goal, what is it for you guys about Petropolis? And then after you talk about what your major goal of Petropolis is, can you also let us know maybe what's next? What's next in your goals?
Maybe some parts.
Okay.
We'll see. All right. Yes. So like Petropolis, right? Obviously our far-reaching future vision is to have this whole metaverse where you could take all of your pets that you have, all the assets within our ecosystem, actually leverage them in this virtual world to create long-term value for yourself and have fun along the way. I look at it almost like a Farm Bill or a Heyday, where my wife's been playing these games for years, and she still logs in and tends to her animals and so on, does the marketplace trades and stuff. What do they do in their farm? I know her, my kids, everyone's managing these farms, and they play them for the longest time. That's essentially, if you look at it, that level of engagement is what we're really going for with Petropolis, where people can use these different assets. It's a draw. It's something you want to come back to each and every day and take part in and actually play in. Some people want to play it more than others, right? That's what we're really working to build towards. And to make that happen, we have a roadmap that we've laid out too that has all the details in there that we're going to be working towards to make it happen. And one really important part that we're working really hard on is that game design document I mentioned too. Is with the metaverse expansion, what we recognize too is we got to make sure we have that like done really, really well. And we have a consultant on our team that's a long-term friend of mine that's actually helping us out here too. And that's exactly what he used to do, is look at not only user retention, but look at how the whole thing is all organized from a game design document standpoint to make sure that when you get your quote comes back correctly. Now you can actually understand your costs in the right manner versus, hey, I don't just want to build this metaverse. Here's my white paper. You know what I mean? Right. It has way more details than that. Very, very thorough. And that's what we're working on right now, because if you have that, well, then you can not only get a clear understanding of the scope of work, you can get the price. You can also understand what your budget is and what your run rate is throughout the development pipeline of this thing. And that's really how we're approaching this, like a business would, instead of like a meme or a dog coin. Like I said, want to make sure that when we do things, we do them the right way. And that's a very important part of doing things the right way right there. Right. And so, that's why I wanted to kind of close out the metaverse conversation on that. Now, what's next for MicroPets here is we're working right now on some additional product development, right? I also mentioned like we do launch the Trop token. We will have a launch pad for that. Okay. And that is something that we'll have to make for that process to happen, where you'll actually be able to take your pets, put them in there, prove you're a holder of MicroPets, be able to actually contribute, so on and so forth. So all that's something that would have to be built in that example. That's something I'll tease on that, but I want to provide like tons of details and insights into something that is evolving. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to fall into the trap of false expectations or anything like that. And we've tried to really avoid that every step of the way too, is setting a false expectation as much as we can. Things do change when you're running a project, and you say like, especially in the world of cryptocurrency, where we're only 6 months old, and you look at all the stuff we built, and you look at how the market has changed. And I can tell you right now, if you're someone who says, all right, my roadmap is exactly what I'm going to build in a year later, if that's the case, then you're not evolving to what the market evolves into in the rapid changing pace of cryptocurrency. You're falling behind. You're going back of what the market was at a year ago when you first made that statement. That's why we build the way we do, is we're willing to change things. Sometimes you were one who pointed out all the stuff we got done on a roadmap. In fact, I saw that on your Twitter and all over the place. Thank you for showing that. Yeah. It was a lot of work we got done, right? And we'll still operate that. It was a ton of work, and we will always operate that way, but we're still willing to make a change too, if it's the right move to make it. Because what if I just said that I continue to play their game, all the wall connections, everything else? That's what everyone was doing. But because we made that change now, that creates a better user experience, a really easy user experience. Now you can set your kids up with the game, like you said. You don't even have to touch a wallet. You can touch that for them. Yeah. And you can contribute to the magic chest, and you can watch them and see if they win, right? So that's a great user experience. And that's really the heart and soul of what we're going to progress forward with as we think about our roadmap and all the future technology as well.
I think innovation is the word that comes to mind when I think about MicroPets, Tony. It's innovation. I mean, you all are continuing to move and pivot as crypto moves. I mean, a month feels like 2 years in crypto, right? It's for real,
at least, man.
Right, man. So I've been in for a few years, and man, it's felt like 2 decades, man. So it's just so much is moving so fast. You got to be quick on your feet. Petropolis is really exciting. I know you're going to continue to drop new news as the time goes on. The roadmap, yes, as you mentioned, you checked every box. We're waiting for Apple, Google, but hey, from me to you, you guys check that box in Q1. I don't really care what anybody else says. Keep executing that roadmap, man. Yep. It's very bullish. A bullish future for MicroPets. Thank you very much, Tony.
Thank you.
Let me just, if you don't mind, let's maybe just go. Let me scroll through the chat here, see if I can get some questions here pulled in. Exactly. 1 second here. So we got a question from Scott Buster. You know Scott Buster, right? So going about Petropolis, he had asked, or she, could be she, the pets that you just mentioned, that those are current pets that would get skills. Is that the way, right? They're going to get skills, and they would learn those new skills in Petropolis with the pets that you own. Is that correct?
Correct. The pets will have the skills. So the pets will have the skills themselves, and then there will be different types of land that have different resources on them. So if you have a pet that has like wood cutting skill, and you're in like if your plot of land has a lot of trees in there, you can cut all that down, level it up, or also people can rent that skill from you. So if you have a pet, now you actually have something you could actually rent out. And if you have a very high level pet, let's say, that can clear things faster or maybe more challenging timber on more difficult land, now you can actually even make more money off that pet. So that's what it's really all about, is the relationship between why are the skills actually needed by the actual core player base. Not that they have to spend money to have fun, but if they really want to make more progress, then they have the ability to do that with the Petropolis token, right? So they'll be able to use that as that currency within the ecosystem, and that's what will drive the utility and the value of that token too as things move forward. So that's in essence how that relationship will work.
And that's the pets that they own today, right? The NFT pets
Correct.
that they own today.
Yep, it's the pets they own today. Yes.
Got it.
So it'll be based on like the rarity of that. We're actually in the process of making a light paper for that too, that explains it in more detail. We want to make sure we get some things buttoned up before we go ahead and roll that out, of course. So we don't have any timing on that we're ready to announce yet. That is something we're planning on we are actively working on right now. And when that does come out, that'll provide even more detail on those types of things.
Yes.
It's much clearer in something like that. You can also check out any AMAs that we've done. There was one that we did at the Whalecoin talk that explains it really well. Mike actually does that.
Yeah, he did that.
He lays it all out.
Yeah.
So if you want an overview, Scott, go check that video out from Mike. And man, is that incredible. It explains everything right there.
We got another question, Tony. I want to stay on time here. Will the 2D NFTs ever be usable in the play to earn like Ascension is being used? I don't know if Ascension is a 2D NFT, but Ascension is a 3D NFT. But is there other purposes of the 2D NFTs? I think is what Funk and Kyle is asking about.
Yes, I'll just say that I'm not going to say yes, it will 100% be used, but it is something we're actively, kind of thinking about, of course. So I'm not going to say yes or no on any of those things yet. But yes, we want to add more value to the 2D NFTs without a doubt, because we want to sell more of those. We want to make sure we continue to do that. And the only way to do that is, well, two things. When you bring new users in, we're going to be doing a lot of marketing for the game. New users come in, they see others with their profile picture, they might want to pick one up, and then there you go. They buy one, okay? The other thing too is if you look at more utility that we could add into the ecosystem, not only if you have one, you can access the shop easier, right? Like you have faster access to the shop when we launch new things, but also we're looking into more utility as we progress and how it relates to the game too. So I'm not going to rule anything out or say, yes, we're doing this for this thing, because it is a lot of development that we work on behind the scenes too. And we have our two core guys that I just mentioned that we trust and explicitly here. And that's super critical in cryptocurrency is, you get in the wrong people and, with wrong intentions and you're next on the line, you know what I mean? So we have the people we have for a reason, and we're going to move forward with our development pipeline for that reason too, is when there's risks out there associated with, bringing in some new individuals too. Not that it can't have code reviews, everything else. My whole point is it's not easy to find the right person too. And we're going to make sure we stick to a very tight development pipeline. And with our guys here that we trust that have done a phenomenal job of building all of this, each one single-handedly, the back end and the front end, one person each.
Just another thing I wanted to highlight for folks is how you guys are giving away to charity as part of this 2D NFT. And there's not many tokens in crypto that are doing that, being charitable as you guys are. So $100,000 to charities.
Yep. When we sell 50% of these, absolutely. That's our first milestone. And then when we get to the end of these things being sold out, we have a total of $150,000 worth of prizes that would be drawn. So, of course, we have some good incentives here for people to buy them. And also we have done, we did a $5,000 donation to charity too, that Malik on our team was actually, was kind of close to his heart. And we went and did that. And I know the content team has like sort of the videos for that with everything kind of finished, where it had all the dogs in the kennels, and they had like, it was in Cyprus, and which is a very small country, and they had like no roofs on any of these cages for the dogs. And so went ahead for just $5,000. You got like, because of the exchange rate with, their money out there, we got like a whole shed thing full of food, and then we got all roofs on all the cages for like $5,000. And of course he has video proof that it's not like a scam or something, because people go back to thinking you're a scam if you do anything charity, because of all the charity scams that have existed out there, you know what I mean? So we'll have that too to show that it's a legitimate thing that we did, and it's also a really cool thing that was done too that shaped the dogs' lives and makes their lives even easier. As sitting in a kennel all day isn't any fun, and especially if you don't have a roof over your head. Imagine that.
No,
I mean, so at least that gives especially if it starts raining or what have you. You know what I mean? So now they have roofs, and that's what MicroPets should be about too. Is things like that the community can take part in and feel good about.
Yeah, I think that goes well with the theme, right? That you guys have. You also have like show your pets day a week. I think it's like show your pets off, and people, just goes with the theme of MicroPets. And I think that's great. And Malik, great job on that, man. We really appreciate that charitable contribution. So Tony, we're up to the last 5 minutes here. Is there any parting words before we close out the live stream here? I just wanted to kind of give you one last opportunity to do some closing remarks. But before we go there, I'm really appreciative of your time on the channel today. I know you're extremely busy, and everybody, all my whole community really appreciates that. Okay. So anyway, do you have any other parting words before we close out the live stream, Tony?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone for being here with us and attending and learning about our project. So it was a pleasure to talk to you today. And thank you guys for just taking a moment to learn about us. Thank you for your engaging questions and giving us the opportunity to share about our project. Thank you for your support. And PJ, thank you for actually doing this and supporting us, because it was really cool experience to have you here dox yourself, as I do an AMA. I thought that was pretty funny and fun too, because just what was it, a month ago? Maybe I did the same thing myself. For those of you who don't know, as I wasn't doxxed either. And it felt weird kind of being like in the veils of darkness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not showing who you really are. You should be proud of who you are and what you've actually done, with behind your background. And if you are like I have always been, you should be open to sharing that, and I've never done anything wrong to anybody, unethical, and nor do I ever plan to do that. I want my reputation to be very clean. I'm a man of my word, true to the, people who aren't. They know that I will call them out if they aren't a man of their word, or so on and so forth. That's how I always operate, and that's how I'll always continue to operate. And that's, I wake up each and every day, and I love doing this job. It's a very stressful job, but I love it that much that it's a really, really special thing to be part of, to see this grow the way it has. The investors, the community, the people who just the technology that we're able to build. I just like to thank everyone who's on the team for.
Oh, sorry, Tony. Sorry, man.
I'm here now.
Go ahead.
So no problem. I just like to thank everyone for allowing us to be, for being part of that process, not just with myself, but as a collaborator. Everybody in the team has had, an impact in this project in some way, shape, or form. So thank you to our core members, team members here, co-founders and executive team for, helping us out the way they have and get to the point we have here with all this incredible stuff that we built out. Man, we have some really special people on the team that I've begun to get to know as really close friends. So it's good. It's really good.
Awesome. Thanks, Tony. Well, everyone, that's going to take us to the end of the live stream. You all know I have my famous sign off, and I'm going to do it with Tony here today. Maybe
one real quick thing.
Yeah.
Can I mention something real quick?
Of course, please.
All right. We have poker tonight.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Poker tonight. That should be at, that's 8 p.m. Eastern time in our Discord. So if you want to join the Discord, we always have a great time on poker nights, right? So you got to join.
I will be there.
All right.
I will leave the links down in the description below, guys, for tonight as well. But do go to the Telegram, go to the MicroPet site, go to the Telegram, go to the Discord. All those links are at the bottom of the page. Don't go to some random pages. It's micropets.io, micropets.io. Don't go to any other website. Don't get scammed.
Yep.
This is the approved website. All their socials are on here, Discord included. Okay. So that's all we had today. Tony, thank you very much again. So PJ Krypto signing off, and I will see you on the moon.